Bonjour, 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 good day. Saturday, samedi, welcome, bienvenue. It is that time again when we connect, when we strengthen the ties that bind us as Dominicans. Together, Moon Dominic, Dominice, Nunice. There is something about us, I tell you. Papa Creole Gordon Henderson said it nicely in a song, Atianite. He penned the lyrics to that song. And just guess what he said? He said, Yo di nou ni yon specificity. And so we welcome you to Connecting the Dots, the first program for the year 2024, Saturday, January 6th. Happy New Year, people. Happy New Year, CTD family. Welcome to the fastest 90 minutes on radio and social media. I tell you that is just fly, eh? But I have an urge to send a stone on Nigel's window. But I'm gonna be polite. In fact, I'll call him out loud. Nigel Francis, come a while. Happy New Year. Good morning, Nigel. Happy Saturday. Where is Nigel? Nigel, I'm not hearing you. For some reason, I'm not hearing Nigel. And I'm not liking this, eh? We have to start on a good footing. No hitches, especially today. Let's see. Nigel, where are you? Are you hearing me? Can you see me?
Well, I can see you. I can see Nigel. You having fun out there. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
I can hear you and no, I can see you. But Nigel, man, beautiful, having fun with you.
Kisa?
Having fun with you, say. Nigel, guess what time? Since what time I'm here? Just guess a rough guess.
Maybe around 5:30 this morning.
well, 5 o'clock.
5
so
o'clock.
You know that's a marathon shift. Nigel Molas.
That is a marathon shift. That's a blast from the past.
So if I look disheveled, slightly, I apologize for this.
That's all right. That's all right. Drink some kakuti and get it going.
Yeah.
You have a long day and there's plenty action outside of DBS. So.
Well, when it's 11 o'clock, I want to go and sleep. So I really don't know about later, but we'll see what happens. If I can wake up,
we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I certainly hope you can get some rest. Go home and get some rest and get ready for later on, or whatever the rest of the day holds for you,
Yeah, man. So, Nigel, Happy New Year. How are you doing? How was the weekend?
I'm doing wonderful. It's a beautiful day. Another year, of course, like you said, so it's a beautiful, happy new year to those that we haven't connected with yet. And, today is a special day for me too. It's also my anniversary, so I'm doing good.
But a lot is happening, man. Tomorrow is the birthday of Curtis Matthew as well. And let me say happy anniversary to you and to Elise and to the entire family. I know it's a family vibe, And advance birthday greetings to Curtis Matthew.
Yes. Youngster, happy birthday when it comes around in a few. And then it's going to be the birthday of, sister, Antonia Lear as well.
Wow.
Coming up later on.
But just on you all had a plan, man.
Well, it seems the way everything happened in the month. Yes. So, happy anniversary to you, Alice, my dearest wife. 28 years.
Wow.
Yes, celebrating 28 years of being together and celebrating and loving and everything else and all the ups and the downs. So happy anniversary to you. I love you to the max.
Nice. I like that. What a wonderful way to start the program. What a good way to start the program. I see Al busy already. We'll shout to our Facebook friends in a while.
Well, this time he decided to make sure he's coming in very
yes, no detention. So, I'm going to ease him up for 2024, so I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, we should be fine. We should be fine. Yeah. He's going to be a guest in 2024. That's for sure.
Yes, for sure. We have to make that happen.
He has to be a guest,
Yes,
for
Nigel.
2024. He's run away for too long sitting at the back of the class. We have to bring him to the front.
I like this.
So, yes, so good morning to him and good morning to everybody else logged on and linked up and everything else. Another beautiful Saturday. I know it's the opening of Carnival as well.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a while. A lot is happening.
A lot of stuff.
Oh, yes, a lot is happening. We had a program a short while ago, Calypso Moments, and, the panelists, Kalil, John Baptist, and Erickson, the gallery. That's the fourth program for the season. So let's see how it rolls.
Yes.
Next week should be more exciting. It will be quarterfinals. But Nigeria, interesting week, quiet week, more or less. Was it really quiet?
Well, I mean, it's good to have a little quiet week in the Commonwealth now and then. I mean, because from today onwards, a lot is going to be happening, and I guess It's going to be a lot of issues to be heard and issues to be discussed and everything else. Let me say thank you very much to you, Winnie Green, for the happy wedding anniversary. Appreciate it. So it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. So it's good to have a nice, quiet week.
Sure,
for
quiet,
one.
yeah. Quiet, kind of quiet, but yeah. I mean, there's a lot to
quiet
be...
by our standards, right?
Yes, there's a lot to be thankful for. So, I give thanks, of course, Nigel. Gratitude is a must, This year, I'm on a journey to seek clarity where there is obscurity. So, and I'm going to talk less, maybe, Nigel. Wow.
No, you can't do that.
Why?
That's a problem.
Boy, Nigel. But I will nurture a frame of mind that sort of listen to people first before I am seeking to understand. There's a song, "Make Me a Channel of Your Peace." You know that song. You want to sing it for us, or you want our guest to just come in and just do something before she comes on? Because this song, I mean, the lyrics of this song, it's very powerful. So
yes,
I've been looking at it over and over again.
There is hate, let me show love, or something.
Yes.
Something.
Yes. Nice song.
It is. Well, I mean, if you want to start, I'll join you.
No, but it's your turn, Nigel. You sing, you start, and I follow. You lead. Just let's go.
You really want the year for you really want the year not to start off on a good footing. You want me to start singing first thing in the year.
Yes.
Make me an instrument. But you said I didn't even know the words.
It's "Make Me a Channel of Your Peace," where there is injury.
That's all I remember.
Yes. There's a part I really like. "O Divine Master, grant that I may never seek to so much to be consoled as to those who console," or something like that. To understand something like that.
Little pieces are coming, but I don't know the entire song to have everything,
But I think it's on that note, Nigel. Then we should pray. So you have the prayer close, Nigel.
Well, you like to do me that thing, right?
We need to pray.
From now, you know what? I'm gonna pin that to the front of my thing, so I have the prayer going forward. And have the prayer going forward.
And whilst we're looking for the prayer, let me say also a big thank you to Rennick Thomas. Nigel Rennick, of course, sent us the prayer, but he did more than that. For the Christmas, he sent some goodies. You did not get, but
I didn't get any.
Okay, yes.
So I'm not saying good morning to him because I didn't get any. But yes, the prayer is here. So it says, let's bless this program. So Heavenly Father, creator of mankind and the universe, we thank thee for the gift of life today and all the blessings you continue to bestow on your children. We seek your presence and intervention throughout this program, and we ask that you keep us connected always. We also pray for the success of the program, its coordinators and listeners, that they may find purpose and enjoy what we share. Bless our radio station and the nation, and may we grow to love and unite with each other, irrespective of our differences. All this we ask in your name, now and forever. Amen.
Nice job.
Nice vibes. Yes. Nice vibes. Nice way to start as always, Appreciate it, right?
So what is the book saying, Nigel? And as you see that, let me just say hello to Vado, to people like Noreen, Love, Schultz, Joe, Thomas, Worgen, Kofi, Jacinta Barnes, Gordon Henderson, Willie Green,
always loved on and all. Yes.
Noreen Joseph, Sonia Williams, Eddie John Baptist, Snapper, Dr. Maxime Vigilant, Dr. Damian Dublin, Nigel. Edwin London.
Yes, Dr. Dubs, good morning to you, my brother. Yes. So Jennifer Coffee, good morning to you. Sandra Sales is saying good morning. Alvin is saying happy anniversary to you and Haley's, Nigel. Many more love and blessed years. Winnie Green says she loves your t-shirts, so she wants one like that.
Okay.
Sandra Luke says she was helping us with the song "Where There's Hatred, Let Me Bring More Love." And Sandra also wants to say happy anniversary to me. And then advance the greetings to Curtis when it comes around. Shirley Joel says happy anniversary, Nigel. Appreciate it, everybody. And Alvin wants to tell you, everyone's this year, you have to continue elevating your purpose. You have done exceptionally well in 2023. And then, of course, Caesarina wants to help us with making a channel of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring you love. Where there is darkness, only light, and where there is sadness, ever joy. O Master, grant that I may never cease, so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, or to be loved as to love with all my soul.
Wow.
Make me a channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring you love. and so on and so on. You know.
Okay, but Nigel, but you're not bad, man, Nigel.
But
We guys see a thumbs up way from our guest.
yeah, but of course.
Maybe look it.
Well, maybe you and your guest, you and I, the guest, you and I will do something.
Like we'll have a CTD choir or something like that.
Yeah, have a CTD choir.
Nice. We have to bring her on. We but quickly, Nigel. Carnival, of course, the official opening today. The street parade starting outside of DBS Radio on Victoria Street will culminate at the forecourt of the Windsor Park Stadium. So the parade will go through certain sections, certain roads on the road, and of course we'll be doing the outside broadcast both on radio and on social media. But we expect a lot of excitement, glitter, glamour. The traditional costumes, Susun Kliwe, the everything, the Black Devils and all of that, the Lapu Cab with, the revelry, the excitement, kaleidoscope of colors. So we look forward to this.
We certainly do. And it's a nice way to officially welcome the carnival season.
Yeah, man.
As we end the Christmas Advent season. So it's a nice way to welcome the carnival season. And, I hope they pleased to be on time and to get the groups going and everything else. And it's supposed to be a tri festival or tri activity. I think there's a parade and then there's the stuff in the stadium. And then, of course, the bands clash kind of thing. So it's going to be a wonderful day in Dominica in terms of celebration.
Yeah.
So, go out there, participate. And if you're not going to be in a band or you're not going to be part of the groups, then, still go out there and support and make the carnival, start the carnival the right way.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so Nigel, we're ready to bring on our guest, right?
Oh, yes. We should bring her on because we have a lot to
By the way, Nigel, just quickly, have you heard any of the calypsos, the treatment to the topics and all of that?
I have heard a few. A little concern, of course, in terms of, repetition of topic. But in terms of the treatment of those, I haven't really, listened to them intensely enough to make any kind of, constructive critic. But overall, it seems to be getting to where we want to get to in terms of, discussing the issues and what's going on in the country and what should be done and so on and so on. So I'm going to listen, of course, to that next week. I can have a better, take on it. I know next week is the quarterfinals. I heard something from Mighty D about the PM going up for King, for Calypso King. I heard a few others, Mystery, for Beautiful ABC. So, nice. I kind of love that one in terms of how it's being done and, how you should say your alphabets and stuff like that. So I heard a few. But I'm waiting to really listen to them so I can make some comments. But as always, Calypso is going to be a good thing.
Sure. So next week is expected to be big in terms of, we're receiving more songs as well because the quarterfinals will come up next week.
Yes, it is. I heard a beautiful one from Soul Post last night as well. One of my favorite Calypsonians. I heard a little thing from him, from the mass camp, in between I was kind of listening. So I know it's going to be a good season, man. I know the Calypsonians are working hard to make it happen. Mask Eruption have a thing about
Joe Grinder. I was just about to tell you that. Yes.
Coming to Garden now and so on. So, there's going to be a few interesting ones out there, man.
Yeah, man. Okay.
We look forward to the season.
Sure. Eddie John Baptist again, let me say Happy New Year to you as well. Thank you so much. And in Manchester City, Rennie Thomas is watching. Winnie Green, JD have a good one too. Okay, Nigel, how do we bring our guest on? Last week, the reviews were a lot of reviews. Positive reviews, calls for her to come back on, WhatsApp messages as well. Just email Motapi. So you can imagine. They like her, man.
I can just imagine what happened between last week and this week. People who reached out and said, "Man, that was a great one. You have to have that," and so on and so on. And it's interesting that she was our last the last person for last year, and she's the first guest for this year. So,
but Nigel, you smart for true, man. I'm really stupid. I'm the stupid one. He's the smart one.
We're smart together. That's why we connect so well. So so it's nice. It's nice to have her on again and to share some more songs and share more of her story, and especially what she's doing now, and to get a take on Calypso and
to help empower people as well, Nigel, to help empower people as well, because a lot of people told me that they learned so much from her story, that she was telling,
especially our young ladies out there. I mean. And just generally in terms of empowering females, empowering women of not just Dominica, but women throughout.
Sure.
So
She
we're
brought a
happy with
surprise, by the way. Something for me to eat, so you're not getting. But there's another surprise she brought.
Again, again.
Yes, yeah.
Listen,
Nigel goodies galore. We on that table there.
Yeah, you must stop doing that thing, you know.
But let's bring her on. She has a surprise for us later on as well, Nigel? So I really look forward to this.
That's even more wonderful again. You know
yes,
and
you understand why Maxine is just so special, because she empowers people, she empowers her children. They are always involved in something meaningful, vibes. And that is good. So happy New Year to you, Maxine. Welcome back. It's a pleasure to have you on. Maxine likes to laugh. A lot of people met me in Tonga and say, boy, I just love Maxine. She has this bubbly personality. She just likes to laugh, you know, and that's good. So welcome, Maxine.
Good morning. And thank you. And I am so honored to have been the last guest for 2023 and the first guest for 2024. I mean...
Opening batsman there.
I know, right? I know.
Can't ask for anything better than that, right?
Can't ask for more than that, yeah. Yeah, really an honor. And good morning. I want to say good morning to all the listeners. I know the regular listeners, of which I am usually one. I don't always comment, but I usually listen. And also those who are on maybe for the first time, or, you know, every now and then kind of listeners. Yeah.
You got a chance to go through the Facebook page last week?
Oh my gosh, yes. Definitely people also reached out to me. You know, when you asked me to be on, I was like, you know, I don't know what we're going to talk about, but I guess there's a lot to talk about. But I don't necessarily see it as, I didn't expect it to be, let's say, so impactful. But as I said, on my way down last week, I was reflecting on you know, what the show would be like and how it would go. And I was singing all the way down from Maho to Roseau. I was singing... Jesus, use me, oh Lord, please don't refuse me, 'cause surely there's some work that I can do. And, you know, Nigel asked the question at the end that led into this talk about, you know, the message to young women, which, and not just to young women, but to people in general, particularly young people. And I think that was, it closed off the show so nicely, you know, it really closed off the show nicely. So, Nigel, thanks for being available as an instrument.
Yes, Nigel has got all the props.
And I want to thank you for being available as an instrument. No, for not even being available as an instrument. No, but for you are the one that that invited me in the first place. You know, you were behind this.
Right, make the connection.
So you were the facilitator. That's correct. You are the one that connected the dots there. And then we're back this morning, and what's our message this morning?
Fun, yeah?
Make me a channel of your peace. I have the words, you know. I have the words, you know. I know. Ivona is like, Ivona, we can't spend the whole show singing again.
No, but
we can't do a part 3.
Let's just start with this song. I love this song.
Make me a channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring your love. Where there is injury, your honor, Lord. And where there's doubt, true faith in you. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there is despair in life, let me bring hope. Where there is darkness, only light. And where there's sadness, ever joy. Oh, Master, grant that I may never seek so much to be consoled as to console. To be understood as to understand. To be loved as to love with all my soul, etc., etc. We're not going to sing the whole thing.
But Nigel, you were helping her out, man.
Yeah, man.
Not me, not this man.
See, Maxine has that effect, you know. She has when she has that effect that you have to just kind of follow through. So you know,
what a wonderful way to start.
It was happening in between.
Yeah. Wow.
And let's just throw out a little message there. Today would have been the birthday of a very good friend, Ronald Astafan. Today is also, they're doing a memorial for him in Florida today.
Yes.
And, you know, we had 2 cases of suspected suicide at around the same time and towards the end of the year.
Yesterday, one young guy was buried.
Yeah, and so the message of, you know, those of us who are maybe a little better to reach out and not seek so much to be consoled as to console, and to be understood as to understand. In other words, let's open up ourselves to each other. Let us reach out And to those who need, those who need a little listening ear sometimes. Maybe they don't need our advice so much, because maybe our advice can put them under more pressure sometimes. Maybe they just need a listening ear and somebody to come and sit with them and, just be a friend.
That do well in a calypso, those lyrics.
Aye.
Seriously. you digging me, right, Nigel?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I like
Feeling the
this.
vibes from me right there and then,
Wow.
which kind of leads us in a way to talk a little bit about Carnival and Calypso before we with Maxine, because I know she's an integral part of that in terms of having backed up before for Calypsonians and being in the band house and around Calypsonians and musicians and all the rest of it. So what are you looking forward to for this particular season, Maxine?
Well, let's say I have something a little special I'm looking forward to this year, and we'll talk about that a little later. But yes, in life the circles go round and nothing stays the same. So yes, I used to back up Calypso, and it was something that I really loved. I enjoyed doing very much. We spent some long, very late hours in the band house. And I have been a keen listener and a keen fan of Calypso. I used to stay and with my phone on notepad, and I would have the all the criteria and stand up and judge through the entire show. Don't come and talk to me. Don't bring no drink for me. I'm not interested. I was right under the stage judging the show, my competitors. So it's something I've been very interested in. And like I said, things are moving and developing as far as my involvement is concerned. And we'll talk a little bit about that later.
Can you think of like one Calypso which really stays on your mind? Like Calypso from way back when?
I love Animal Farm. To me, Animal Farm is a masterpiece, honestly. Just the connection between the book and it just, I absolutely love Animal Farm. Hurricane is also one of my favorite Calypsonians from back when. I really used to enjoy the sparring between Hunter and Scrunter, the brothers, and Extempo and that kind of thing. There's so much. I mean, Man himself was actually also one of my favorite Calypsonians. He wasn't a high tempo, but his messages were always, and his lyrics and his melody. He was a Calypsonian that I really enjoyed back then. And people used to ask me how with DBS and those kinds of Calypsonians, how you look like you enjoying, how you backing up them things. I'm like, it's it's just, you have to enjoy the culture of it, and you have to understand where it's coming from, and something very interesting about Calypso I find is that it allows people to be on stage and to be a superstar that would never otherwise be able to be in that kind of that kind of to receive that kind of adoration, let's put it that way, or popularity, or whatever.
It's a big adoration, for some of them. I tell you, I mean,
yeah.
to see DBS on stage, especially back in the day when he was even more popular.
Yes,
to get that, response from the crowd. That was good.
Man. So it gives them a segue from their usual daily life, something that they can really feel good about, and so that's something I find really interesting about Calypso. I was saying to my nephew yesterday, he's a musician, high level training, plays maybe 8 instruments. He's studying music at the higher education level right now in London, in Manchester, sorry. And we were talking yesterday, because we went into the studio to do something, and I was explaining to him as we were going home, some of the Calypsos were playing, and I explaining to him the background behind them and what was happening at the time, and the fact that if you have to listen to Calypsos over the years, you can almost write a history book on that, right? Because they address all the topics that are relevant at the time in very interesting ways.
Nice. What about costume bands? You ever participated?
Costume bands, really, I participated from school days. I'm not so much of a costume band person. I am a Dominica kind of carnival kind of person. I'm not a pretty mass person per se. One of these days I have to get myself a sensei, because I love sensei. I love sensei. I love Juve. But I'm not a pretty mass person. And anyway, I'm not going to go down that way. Leave that alone.
All right, okay.
But which kind of brings me to find out from you, though, Max, and in terms of having been at convent high school, and then of course the rest that follows. Was Carnival and Calypso, was that part of, like, in the household? Was that part of you when you were growing up? Was that something that was either not played or discussed or
Carnival at let's say from primary school, when we always, there would always be a school band, and then there was also Revelers at the time. Revelers was maybe my high school. Revelers was a comfortable space where it was families. It was a safe space for children to actually run Carnival together and stuff. So we really enjoyed Revelers Carnival band back in the day. Calypso was in the household because, of course, my father was in politics, and often he was one of the topics, right? So the Mumu talking, for instance, is one of the well-known ones, where he took it very much in stride. I remember my mom not being so pleased about it, but then he was like, it comes with the territory. So yeah. Yeah, so
interesting. I always wanted to find out how your dad responded to that particular song.
No, Daddy was
good to know that
Daddy was not.
In stride and
as a matter of fact, before Ken Richards and myself used to talk a lot. Malcolm Chapa, his son, is my main musician. Has been my backbone. And Ken and I used to talk a lot, and he gave me this story of. He said he had so much respect for Daddy because there was a time when there was a news conference or something like that, and he would ask the pointed questions, right? And so he asked some particular questions, and afterwards, apparently, Daddy went to him and he said, "Keep doing what you do. Keep asking those questions." And he was very surprised because he thought that he would have been, sort of on the wrong side of. But no, my father, I think, recognized the need for all the different aspects that make up a strong democracy, where you have government for the people and by the people, and so he was never afraid of difficult questions, let's say, and he was also not afraid of criticism. And I mean, the Mumu talking, that is you have these things in organizations, right, where you sit and you should be able to argue and have differing opinions. So actually himself, and if I remember correctly, himself, Charles Maynard, and I think maybe Jenna Amo at the time, had opinions at the time that did not necessarily resonate with the leadership or with the majority. And they expressed their opinions within the cabinet. And when a decision was taken, and then you move on. If your opinion is not the dominant opinion, then you deal with it. And if it is so much against your grain, then that you can't deal with it, then you leave. And that's the way that these things are supposed to work.
Nice. I like that. I like his.
That's group dynamics,
but
right?
Nigel, what I also took away from what you just said there is like her father would not bother by those things, but her mom, would not really take it lightly. And women,
we like to defend our man, right?
Oh my goodness!
Stand by your man.
That's what you're supposed to do. Stand by your man. Right?
Yes, and yeah, that's women. So I have seen women like want to run on a football field if the guy got a tackle or something like that. Yeah, so it happens.
Yes, you have to do the protection if you can, or the defense.
Yes. That's very strong.
By the way, Alvin says he wants to challenge Maxine this year. He thinks she should start writing a book because she has quite a story to tell. He wants her to start putting down her stuff so that she can have this left time.
I mean,
So Max, when we ended last week, we had just ended the portion where we had moved up from convent, and then in terms of the working Maxine, what area did you before you go into what you do now? What if you can recall, of course, what area of work did you transfer over to once you left convent?
When I left convent, I went into Sifokol, and I actually did 2 years of Sifokol, and then went back. So I did 2 years of Sifokol. It was the first time that they were doing this new subject called computer science, and I was one of the guinea pig students. And the first experiment didn't work out so great because we did not get access to the actual curriculum until it was weeks before the exam, and we had already submitted our practicums, and we discovered then that the language of programming that we had been learning for the 2 years was a language called O, which was meant for O level, for ordinary level, and not for advanced level. And the curriculum said specifically that O should not be used, and it said that you should use Pascal or C++, which are more advanced level programming languages. So we got the curriculum and some past papers weeks before the exam when everybody was off on study leave. And we had to go back in and try to learn the 2-year program in those weeks, because when we got the past papers, we could not answer question number 1, part A. Because the exam papers, the written exam, was written in the style of Pascal, which we didn't understand. So we were at a real disadvantage. So I got an E in computer science, and I was the only person that got an E, and I was the highest mark in the class.
And not E for excellent.
Not E for excellent. A, B, C, D, E, and after that...
Just E for effort.
Exactly, right? So, and that was the highest mark in the class. So I was not satisfied with that, number one. Number two, I had done physics. Physics was my love. Physics and geography were my loves, actually, at high school. And I had done physics, but we had a teacher, Mr. Loda, who did not, was not...
You know his first name? You remember his first name?
I don't know his first name. I don't think I ever knew his first name. I think he was a Guyanese. Okay, we used to call him Fancy Pants because he wore his bell bottoms, which I think he wore those bell bottoms from the time my older brothers, who are 6 and 5 years older than me, were at Sifokol.
Oh my goodness.
I
That's
think
a distraction in the class.
And it was a little tight bottom thing, and then the bell bottoms, right? But Mr. Loda was not pleased because he had, it was myself, Cecil Pemberton, Arlene Charles, I think there were 2 Davis sisters, I think that was it. There were like 5 of us, and intelligent girls there. All of us were top of class girls in his class, and he was disgusted with all these girls that were in his class. So that was number one. Number two is he had a teaching philosophy that was, well, if you fail it, too bad, moving right along. So he would give us quizzes, pop quizzes, and everybody would fail. I mean, that was the first time in my life I was failing, getting 28% in 28%. I can never forget that, because that was like unheard of for me. And then he would just move on. He would never explain the topic, in spite of the fact that we didn't understand it. And I mean, when I tell you I had brains in my class, Jenna Joseph and Irene Matthew. The other day I saw an Irene in town. I hadn't seen him in years. Like brains. And all of us would fail the quiz, and he would just move right along. So again, I ended up, I think I got maybe an E in physics as well. And I was like, no, I can't move on with 2 E's at A level. That's not gonna look right. So I went back in and I changed, and I did economics, and I did econ in 1 year. So I did the computer science over, and I did economics instead of physics. So I transitioned then from the sciences to the business and development subjects. I did econ in a year. So I did, I think it was the first year in the Sifokol program, and I did the second year as an after, in the adult class afternoon program. And I got an A in the econ. I loved econ. And so that kind of changed my trajectory. I went on to
But even before you move on to where you went on to, what did this teach you though, this experience about the teaching profession? Because you mentioned Mr. Loda, his whole method of teaching, and sometimes I see it happening even today. What lesson did you learn from that?
Boy, it taught me, first of all, that teachers can make or break a person, and can make up, because my intention had been, my intention was to become an engineer. That was what I was heading for. And maybe it was God's plan, maybe it wasn't, I don't know. But he killed any, like, my self-confidence as far as physics was concerned, or my ability to move onward with it. Not even my self-confidence, my ability to move onward with it was cut. So that was one. It also, let's say my experience with the economics now taught me that if you know, it's possible to excel in something, even if you have absolutely no background in it. And my strategy of the econ was really to read before. So by the time I got into the class, I already had an idea of the topic. So I would have insightful questions that were based on things that maybe I didn't understand and still had not been explained. So that was a strategy that I developed then, and helped me to really do well. Yeah, I guess those would be what I would say my lessons from that would be.
But when I interrupted you, I think you were going, taking it step by step.
Yeah, so I was saying I ended up going to UE after that, and I did economics and business management, and I really developed an interest in the whole development economics and the theories of economic development in the Caribbean. So because I went to UE and not to an American university or a British university or whatever, we studied people like Sir Eric Lewis and the Caribbean theories, as well as the global, the other main theories. And also it for me, UE was great because it allowed me to develop a regional network that has worked for me up to this day. I mean, one of the Assistant Secretary General at CARICOM is a past UE mate of mine. The Prime Minister of Jamaica is a past UE mate of mine. So I have a network in the Caribbean that exists because of the fact that I went to the University of the West Indies, as opposed to going to the States or somewhere else that to study. And I think it also allows you to really develop a cultural context and an understanding of the region and an appreciation of it. So I don't regret that at all.
Wow, I need a song though. I just it's not my fault, Max. I mean, I've been here since 5 this morning, so you can imagine.
Ivona, anyway, you not easier than Ivona there.
So let's just get a song and we continue. I just love what you're saying and the way you connect it, the way you bring it out as well. But I'm also thinking that I have this urge for a song, right, Nigel? I know you have some questions to follow, Nigel. Hold it.
No, I follow you.
Let's get a song, Maxine. You brought a surprise for us, so whenever you're ready, just bring the surprise.
Yeah, the surprise will come later. Okay. The surprise will come later, right? But I give you something. I know that's something you want, so I'll give it to you. Depuis longtemps, jamais s'en étendre. Yo ka chercher bon l'année, yo jabon tout coulé, yeah. C'est la concierge qui arrive, un bon soleil et la pluie qui a tombé. Pour nous lever, wake up, yeah. Gon bonnet pour ni bonnet, pour nous bonnet. Nous j'ai qu'arrivé pour nous j'ai ça j'avais oh que pour faire your face. Sorry, the words I don't have them so well. Laissez voir ne marquer pas sans continuer pour nous lever wake up yeah on bonnet pour ni bonnet laissez tomber mentalité qui se fait consommer pour soigner sa planète. Faut nous lever, I oublier, forget, c'est que la réalité. Give me the brass, Ivo.
Nigel, your job.
I thought you were going to give me back up, because I know you.
Song,
I know you love that song.
I played it again this morning because I woke early this morning. It's a good wake-up song. Yes.
Yeah,
very,
man.
very good
yeah,
song.
Man. Yeah, man. Yeah. So I know you were waiting for Sister Nelly, and I know you wanted that song since last week. So I try my best. Sorry if I mammoth a little bit.
No, that's all right. You have the voice. You have the charisma. It's all right.
And thank you to my sister Shalina for sending me her version of the lyrics, by the way, because
Okay. No. What I learned about that song though is Negress. I really thought you were saying Nicholas.
No, man. Negress. Yes.
Write your songs, your own lyrics, and you just write what you hear, and you think that is the correct thing. So you'll be singing in the studio, Nicholas. And oh my goodness, Negress.
Seriously, I wanna.
Seriously.
I love that.
And that was one of my theme songs. But for me, it was Nicholas.
Negress.
Wow. So we continue, Nigel.
I love that.
So we continue.
I love that, right. But Maxine, so in connecting that song from Nelly Star, and of course, asking us to wake up as a people and everything else, your time at UE, was there a awakening for you at UE in terms of the strength of Caribbean people, strength of Caribbean women? Did that happen for you at UE, or was it something that was happening already before you went to UE?
I think UE was a real formation and of identity and sense of self for me. It was really interesting to go into that environment and see how Dominica fit. So, the discussions about Mary Eugenia Charles at the time, for instance. Also, because I was doing economics and development economics, the discussion about the importance of the huckstering economy in Dominica. So when you would discuss things like that, like trade, one of the ways that Dominica showed up was the importance of the hucksters in the economy, which was something that I had never really thought about. So that was something, and then also discussions about remittances, and which continue to be a very important aspect of our economy, and that would be the payments from people living overseas, Dominicans who live in the diaspora, as we call it nowadays. At the time, that word was not such a popular word, but Dominicans who live overseas, and the ways that they contribute back to the economy, and nowadays the statistics show that in some countries, overall remittances in the Caribbean actually, I think, contribute something like 3 times the GDP. I mean, it's a really significant contributor to not only the economy of Dominica, but of the Caribbean. And then in times like COVID and in post-disaster times, you find that takes on an even bigger significance. So to those of you listening out there, outside of Dominica, people like you, Nigel, your connection, as we are connecting the dots, your connection to your home economies is measurably significant, particularly in times of difficulty in the local economy, because we're an island limited by size, and scope. It is, those connections are really important to the economy generally.
Wow, you see the mettle of this lady? She's good.
Yeah, and what I love about it,
really good guess,
is the simplicity of the ability to connect everything, and to make it understood by all.
Effortlessly.
So that's the beauty of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's what I appreciate from Maxine in terms of being able to share that information. Was there like a Dominica group at UE? Like, did you guys have any cultural things happening?
Yeah. Of course. We would participate in the they would have the national days where, and we would have like a food fair where all islands would showcase their stuff. We would have socials together. So people like actually Ruby Blanc, Bianca Roberts, Ronnie John Baptiste, who is at Credit Union, his wife Dorothy, who is Jamaican, who he met at UE, and they subsequently got married. People like Brain, and Mr. Alexander of blessed memory, who was a principal in Grand Bay, because so there were some mature students who were doing, particularly in the education program. So Brain and Mr. Alexander were doing education, were doing an advanced level education program. And Mr. Alexander became, later on when I lived in Grand Bay, he was kind of my neighbor, and we remained, good friends across generations, if you want to call it that. So yeah, we had a vibrant Dominican community, and we did what we could to showcase our culture, and also to kind of socialize together. I remember when I came back, Ronnie told me he didn't think I was going to come back to Dominica. But that's because I make myself wherever I go. But honestly, my experience there really made me appreciate or identify the things that I appreciate about Dominica. Right? Being outside, sometimes when you are in the space and you don't go out of the space, there are many things that you don't notice. You don't take notice of, and you take for granted. But when you go out for a while, sometimes it helps you to really identify the things that are important to you. And for me, the pace of life here, I really appreciate. I remember one day standing in Ligoni, and there was just so much going on. Somebody there with a jackhammer in the street, and then all the traffic and the buses. So I was there waiting for a bus, and the bus comes up, and you see all of these people hustling to go on the bus, little kids with their school bag on their back, and nobody's giving them way to pass. They have to fight their way like any big man, any big woman. And if you go on the bus, sometimes your bag can stay outside, and because those buses, when I tell you, jam packed. And things like that, my peace of mind, I needed a little bit of quiet and space, and those are emotions that I had never really felt before, and it made me appreciate or recognize that I really appreciated the pace of life and the peace here in Dominica. I would come back and people would say, "Oh, I remember some friends of mine, acquaintances, whatever you want to call them, laughing. One day we stand up on the corner by the credit union, NCCU, and talking about the police and how they don't have guns and Dominica police." And I'm like, yo, listen, the fact that our police don't have to carry weapons reflects on our society. And the fact that we live in a peaceful society. And trust me, I appreciate that, because coming from Jamaica, where you see the level of corruption, I lost my laptop, and I went to the police to report it. And I can tell you, you're not getting anything, you're not getting anywhere, nothing is getting done unless you have some money to pass to somebody. Yeah, forget it, right? Easy. And this is how corruption seeps into a society. And so I saw those kinds of things. I also saw a sort of a classism, a sort of if you're not with certain types of people, then we don't know you. Like, you only become important if you dealing with this person and that person and the other person. And that is something that I like. So I made myself comfortable. I made some really good friends. I had 2 wonderful Jamaican roommates. We stay in touch to this day. I made good friends. Otherwise, my 2 closest friends were a St. Lucian and a Trinidadian. And it was a wonderful experience overall.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice vibes. By the way, you said earlier that you're not really a costume on the street, costume girl kind of girl, and you do not have a Sente costume. What about a warp duet, especially as you were abroad studying?
I working towards that. Listen,
so I put you on the spot there. We are not just.
I working towards that. Okay. But them things, that's an investment. It's an investment.
A good one.
It's an investment. It's a good one, and I definitely I'm working towards it. But yeah, I also, with my girls, it's almost a priority for me to try to ensure that they have something. And these things are not cheap nowadays, boy.
They tell you.
These things, and the girls are growing. So it's not like I have tried to make one outfit that can last them for a couple of years. It doesn't work that way. Every year I have to do something new because they're growing.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not like before when you could wear a short pants, well, a long pants, and it would reach above your ankle or something like that. Like
You
you're
can't do
crossing
that
the
again.
river. No.
Yeah, so yes, definitely owning a wob and owning a sensei are two of the things that are on my list. But you know, we have to prioritize things, and as far as independence is concerned, I really want to make sure that my children are brought into the. My mother laughs at me because I never used to like to wear the jeep when it was, but no, my children are in it and I have them in it. But yeah, so.
Which kind of leads me, Max, to something that's totally different from, you know, the days of you and everything. As you mentioned about your kids and your mom and so on and so on. Of course, your mom is known for, you know, marriage encounter and what happens up there and everything else. And as I was telling Ivona earlier, as someone who's celebrating their 28th wedding anniversary today, and I know your mom being part of everything else and the kids, and how important do you see family and couples and everything else in terms of laying down that foundation for what is to come?
Let's say that I am very grateful for the fact that I grew up in a family where I had both my mother and my father. They have set a wonderful example for me as far as the covenant of marriage is concerned. And as far as riding through good times as well as bad times and remaining committed through all kinds of struggles. I also do know that it doesn't always work that way. And there are times when people make wrong decisions, and there are times when your life can be at stake if you remain in a relationship, right? So so I also recognize that. So like I say, I'm really thankful that I grew up in an atmosphere where I had both. And one thing that I do know is that children need both the male influence and the female influence. Men and women play different roles in the life of a growing child and a developing child, and both roles are very important. So even if let's say the marriage or the relationship does not work out, it's really important to try to maintain a level of civility for the sake of the children. Because the other thing that happens very often is if the parents don't get along, then the children find a way to use that loophole, right? So they will say to mommy that I told daddy that and daddy said that. And they will say to daddy that I told mommy that and daddy said that. Meanwhile, they haven't spoken to either one actually, and they are off on a whole adventure that maybe no parent knows about, right? So it's really important as adults that we are adults and that we keep our adult problems between ourselves and we deal with each other for the good of the children. Yeah, I think that's what I would have to say about that.
I know last week, I know Nigel, you have several questions, but let me just come in here a while. I know last week Maxine mentioned her business venture, what she did, you know, how much she has been involved in, especially the business by the river and all of that, the ambience that, you know, lends itself to all the wonderful times that, you know, people enjoy there. But so I want to segue into another area, Nigel. I'm not sure if you understand where we are still. I want to look at because I don't want to miss this with Maxine. On music, we spoke about calypso, but I want to get her take though on lyrical content and what she's hearing. You know, what's her take on that? So I'm not sure if you're ready for us to go there, or if you have something in line with what she was just speaking about earlier.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so Maxine, we have a lot of songs. I mean, some people are very good at masking, while some just cannot, you know, do this. What concerns you, or are there any concerns as far as the lyrics?
Well, my surprise will bring out some of that as well. But let's say that my concern in recent times, particularly, let's say, in the past year or year and a half, right? My concern has been with us as a society and the way that we seem to think that it's okay to expose any kind of lyrics to any kind of audience at any time of the day, in any kind of place. And we don't seem to see that there's a problem with that. I don't have an issue with the people who write what they write. Okay? Because in every genre, you have explicit content. However, when a creator creates explicit content, they should know, like if I'm a video producer and I produce pornography, I should know that my business plan would have to be based on a niche market. However, if the mass of the society takes the product that I have produced and they decide that they are going to use it as a mass product, that's not me. That's not on me, because I produced something that I would expect a niche market to consume. If the mass market decides to consume it and put it on display every chance they get, that's not me. So I don't have an issue with the creators. I see guys who have been writing and producing music 9-10 years and nobody has taken them on. They have material on YouTube that has 200 views over 10 years. And then they put out something that is explicit and sensational, and in 2 days' time they have 11,000 views, and next week they're touring. So it has to do with the market demand, not with the market supply. Because whatever we demand, somebody will supply. And I'm not going to blame the person who supplies it. I'm going to blame those of us who do not see that. I mean, and I'm sorry, but we have events that are produced and marketed as, and remember, I have a background in event production, right? And I have a background in marketing. You produce an event that is marketed as a family event, but you book artists to that event that are known for explicit content. Is that the fault of the artist, or is that the fault of the producer of the event? If it's a family event, then I, as a parent, should feel that it's okay to send my child to that event because it's a family event. That's how you pose it to me. So we should not be booking artists whose repertoire is explicit, and I don't care if they come from Germany, France, Timbuktu, Ghana, Kenya, America, Grenada, St. Lucia, or Dominica. It doesn't make a difference. That's not the point. The point is, if it's a family event, the content should be family friendly. So that's what I have to say about that, really. To me, it reflects on us as a society and the decay of the moral fabric of our society. That's where I see it, and I put it at the feet of all of us adults. A DJ said to me the other day, he's playing this thing at a children's party. And I'm like, you are one of those who, when I started talking about this thing, because I was one of those who started talking about it, and then I Delia as well, and I couldn't take too much of a forefront, and Delia was the one who was there. And he's one of the people who called the radio station and said, I'm not going to say I'm not going to play these things. I would play them at certain events and not at others, because, at an adult event, if that's what adults want, it's not my business to tell them not. But at a children's event, I wouldn't. Then I hear him playing it at a children's party, and he come and talk to me afterwards and say, "Boy, Maxine, I see you." And then, well, yeah. He said, but I was so surprised that them children singing along with the thing. I said, but they know it. No, there's a difference about them knowing it and us as parents presenting it to them in a home atmosphere. Then it validates it, right? I use the example of sexual healing. My mother, we had a neighbor that used to play her music loud. She was a returnee, and she loved to play her music loud. And Sexual Healing, Marvin Gaye, was one of her favorite songs. My bedroom was facing her home. So I knew the words of the song, right? But my mother was very clear that this was not a song that she wanted to hear at her home. This was not an appropriate song. So I knew what the boundary was. And even if the song was playing and I could hear it, I wouldn't open my mouth to mouth the lyrics, far less to sing it. However, if it was played in my home environment, then of course I feel empowered to sing it. And people make comparisons to things like Saltfish, and so that is nonsense. Saltfish, many of us sang for many years and had no clue what it meant. These things that we are talking about, they are not hidden at all. They are not meant for the ears of children. I'm sorry. And that's my position on it. And like I say again, I want to reinforce my issue is not with the creators, because they will create whatever they create, and those things should be for certain audiences, not for the general audiences. My issue is with our society and with the producers of events that book these guys and girls, it's not men alone, book explicit content on events that are promoted as family-friendly events. End of my story on that. Until later when the surprise comes on and you'll get a little more.
But so Maxine, in terms of what you've just said, and as a student of economics, which you are, and of marketing, which you are, and of event promotions, which you are, it would appear that the promoters and the producers of those events are concerned more with the bottom line, more of the returns.
But Nigel, even that I would disagree with, because we have lots of popular music that is not explicit in every genre. So again, I am not bashing any particular genre, and I am certainly not bashing bouillon. Okay? It has nothing to do with the genre, and it has nothing to do with there are popular artists that can fill this position. Sorry.
All right. No, go
take some water, drink some water, mind your business.
Drink water and mind my business.
Mind your business. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Nice vibes, Nigel.
But
really.
Interesting discussion, interesting take on the connection here between the lyrical content and of course the business motive in terms of making sure you can get some dollars out of there, and I guess maximizing the time to them. They're maximizing the time that they have, because I think eventually this particular phase that we're going through is going to be phased out. It happens in all different genres of music at one point or the other. One may argue that when WCK did Balance Batty, it might have been seen then as wow, telling people to go and balance the batty, and once you see them at the dance, they will turn around and start to balance the body. So it happens at different points in time. There's no way you can compare what that Balance Batty song is as compared to what's happening now. It's so much more out there than it used to be, and I think that is where you find some people have the difference in terms of that creativity. How do you use that same part of the anatomy and make it something that you can sing and enjoy, as opposed to what's happening now where it's right there in your face, So that's where some might have to take the issue with the creators, in that they're not being as creative and they're not being as masterful as they can in terms of the lyrical content and what you can do with it. It's just playing out there without no poetic feel to it. That's just my general take. All right.
But I mean, we can stay on this for a long while.
A long time. So that's
you want to make a point before we wrap, because I want to move on to migration and all of that.
But
yes,
I wanted to do another song for you again. So.
But you know the vibes. Yes, Maxine, you're not hearing me. I don't know why you're not hearing me. Something went wrong.
No, I'm hearing you.
Oh, okay.
I'm hearing you. But I don't know if you're hearing me.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
sorry, I was saying.
So yeah, you wanted to give your take on what Nigel just said.
No, I just wanted to say that again. If we as the audience don't give them a reason to be challenged why they have to do that extra work, then there's no reason for them to do it.
Okay, I want to bring in another area because I know you have a surprise, for us as well. And I know as well that you work with
IOM.
an organization that provides a comprehensive response to the, I would say, humanitarian needs of migrants. Tell us about your work there. Tell us about your main concern as far as the issue of migration is concerned, and non-nationals, of course, residing here.
Well, okay, so I work with the International Organization for Migration, which is the UN Migration Agency. And we basically give support to member states in terms of managing migration so that it can be to the benefit of the migrants as well as the host state and even the sending country of origin, right? Um, I feel that we as Caribbean people um, migration is an integral part of the Caribbean story. Every single Caribbean person, and I say that with nobody can counter me on this. Every single Caribbean person is who they are because of something to do with migration. We are all here on these islands because of migration being somewhere in our story. And this even goes back to the indigenous people who moved here from South America, right? But they were the first people to be here, and they right? History shows, not the history that we're taught at school, but history shows that Africans were in the Caribbean before slavery, right? The trade winds lead directly to the Caribbean from Africa. So that is no surprise, right? Um, every single one of us has migration as part of our story. Yet still, so for instance, I gave you a story last week about my mom being from Grenadian family, born in St. Vincent, went to school in St. Vincent, went to England to study. Well, really, in Grenada, met my father. They went to study. They got married, moved to Dominica. My father has his, I spoke about that as well, where his father was of Barbadian, actually, so the Alleyne comes from Barbados. My great grandfather was Barbadian, married to a Dominican, Simon. And all of us, every single one of us, if we challenge ourselves, is either we have connections with other islands, of course, we have the connections with Africa. Some of us have connections with Europe. Some of us have the indigenous. So why is it? And then all of us want the ability to move, whether it is for safety, whether it is for economic benefit, whether it is for education, whether it is to meet family of ours, whether it is for love, whether it is just to travel and be adventurous and experience different cultures, etc. Every one of us wants that. Many Dominicans have left Dominica in times of hardship. We had mass migration after Hurricane David. We had mass migration when the banana industry was falling. We had mass migration even when the banana industry was booming and people were sending their children overseas to study.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But yet still, when people of other countries and cultures come into our space, sometimes we want to look down on them, or we tend to look down on them because they come from a difficult situation. But when we come from a difficult situation, we want to be respected and treated decently. Right? And to me, that is one of the things that we need to wrap our heads around. And it is an unfortunate tendency of humanity to want to put our foot on the person that is below us. And it's something that we have to recognize and work against, because it's not a positive thing. Right? And if we look around at, yesterday I was reading a story, I think Anne John Baptist celebrated 93 or 94 years yesterday, or day before, or recently anyway. Anne John Baptist is the lady who herself and her husband, Cuthbert Papillot. Now, Papillot has been so much to Dominica. Papillot has been so much also to Trafalgar. Anne was born in New York. Anne is an American. She came to Dominica, she fell in love with Dominica, and she has done so much to preserve, conserve, and promote the biodiversity of Dominica and the nature of Dominica and so on and so forth. These people stay here through thick and thin, through hard times. They don't go back to their so-called greener pastures. Yeah? That's a migrant. A migrant is not a black person alone, by the way. Yeah? And a migrant doesn't only come from Haiti or Dominican Republic or Venezuela or whatever. Migrants come from anywhere. Migrant is a person that moves from their normal place of living to a different place. And it can be for a myriad of reasons. Like I said, in the case of my mother, for instance, it was for love. Right? But it could be for anything. It could be for work. It could be because the skills. So after Maria, for instance, we had lots of people who came in here while all of us were suffering and trying to rebuild. The carpenters couldn't go and work for anybody else because they were trying to rebuild their own, or they were busy. If we didn't have people that came from outside to assist us in that time, we would not be where we are today, because we would not have had enough hands to do the work. Right? We have migration programs. So migration is a thing that can be an opportunity. The question is, what are the challenges associated to it, and how are we going to manage? In any business course that you do, you will come across what you call a SWOT analysis or a TOWS analysis, depending on who teaches it to you. The point is, what are the strengths and weaknesses internally? What are the opportunities and challenges externally? And how can you connect the dots between the opportunities and your strengths? And how can you counteract the weaknesses and the threats? Management. You look at the situation and you say, okay, this is what I don't want to happen. This is what I want to happen. And so we are going to take these steps to achieve that. Dominicans go to Canada every year, and not Dominicans alone, St. Lucians, Jamaicans, on this circular migration program where you go seasonally, you pick apples or whatever, peaches, whatever, you stay for 6 months, you make some money, you come back. That is a program of managed migration. It has been done culturally. Dominicans used to go to Cuba. Lennox and Richard has spoken to us about, used to go to Cuba and cut cane. People go to Marigaland still, seasonally, to cut cane and whatever. Dominicans went to Panama to help to build the Panama Canal. So let's stop. I mean, Our Lady of Song, Ophelia, was not born in Dominica. Yeah? But then she says, okay, we stay, see. Dominic said pay him when she wasn't born here. But Dominica is her home. And she's staying here. She ain't going nowhere.
Well said, Maxine. I really wish we could just talk more about this. I'm looking at the
time. Free and our time is almost up.
And you have to listen to the song, and then you have to bring in. You want to bring her in now?
Yes.
So who are we bringing on?
So this is my introduction of the lady who's coming to join me.
What are you shaking there?
Some roses. Roses. Right? So I'm going to introduce.
She can take a seat. Let's see if
I'm going to introduce to you. Come. I'm going to introduce to you a young lady, my daughter. And she is joining the Junior Calypso competition.
Okay,
2024.
Let's see if we can. Come. Yeah, so Maxine, let her come closer to you.
Come on. And her calypso name, her name is Camille Rose. Don't hide. And her calypso name is Rising Rose. Come, don't hide.
Rising Rose.
Right, okay. So the roses are for Rising Rose.
C'est bon.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
So she's going to take part in the Junior Calypso competition this year.
Song written by you?
Who wrote the song?
Song written by you?
Song written by me. She challenged me. I haven't written in a long time. I always tell people I can write, but I don't have time. And I happen to be on vacation, and I challenged myself, and I wrote a song.
Who is Camille Rose?
Tell us a little bit about it.
Hi, Camille.
No. Come on, don't mute up now. Huh? Who is Camille Rose? How old are you?
My name is Alleyne-Esprit. I am 9 years old, and I was born in Dominica.
All right.
All right. So the daughter of Maxine and
I
is
go
it
to
Sean? I
school.
want to make sure I get your husband's name correct. Sean, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
I go to
beautiful.
school at Pioneer Preparatory in Checo.
All right. And Camille has been
Wonderful.
involved in a lot of positive things. Well, Maxine will always ensure, that they follow in her footsteps as well.
That's not me. That's not me ensuring. No? Every child is different, and we spoke about this last week that all of us are blessed with certain talents,
But you
and all
push
of
them
us
as
have
well, eh? I know that.
something we created for in life. I am not the one who makes Cami what she is. She is what she is.
Okay, so yeah, good example.
Beautiful,
said,
beautiful.
so-
I love the surprise that we have.
Yes. So,
Mother,
so she's going
daughter,
to sing
writer,
for us.
Calypsonian.
Yes.
I love that connection.
Yeah.
I love that connection.
So Nigel, you'll beat the drum, right? By the way, you'll beat
Say
the
that
drum.
again?
You'll beat the drum while she's singing. You
We'll
can
try
still
something.
beat the drum.
You're not drum again.
Depend,
I'm
right?
still waiting for Raspo to send me the drum.
Okay. So Maxine, the song, what is the?
Yeah. So the name of this song is "Message from the Youth," and so she's coming forward as a representative of the youth, carrying forward a message to us, the adults, and the society in general. So we have a little teaser verse that we want to share.
Sure.
That kind of encapsulates the main message of the
Nice.
song.
All right. So when you're ready, Camille, go ahead.
Adults out here should take care of what they do and say. In the middle of the day, around children with
From the speakers all day. Let's go.
Yeah, you can start again. Start again.
The adults out here should take care of what they do and say. In the middle of the day with children around and blasting from their speakers bright day. Doors,
No, come on. Even into a
playroom doors, and surprise we know the words. And then justify because they say we know the words. Protect my innocence and put a stop to all of this nonsense. Ally?
Nigel protects my innocence
I love
and
it,
put
I
a
love
stop
it,
to
I
all
love
of this
it, I love it.
nonsense. I love this.
I love it, Camille. I love the fact that you want to share from your perspective, from your point of view, something to the adults.
Yeah,
what they
a
should
strong
be doing.
message
I love
because
it.
she starts by saying adults out there should take care of what they do and say. Something like
Yes.
that, right?
Yeah. In the middle of the day with children around and blasting from their speakers bright day.
Yes, which is something we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in meetings in my office, right? And on a Tuesday at 11 o'clock in the morning. And then these things are passing outside. And we have to literally put the meeting on hold until the vehicle has passed. And I mean, the content of those things, she has been with me in Roseau, waiting to go to a class. It's just like our children don't need to be exposed to those things. Really and truly, those things are not meant for children. And so let's take a decision to stop that nonsense. Yeah? So that's the message of the song.
You want to sing another verse for us, Camille? Yeah.
No,
I'm
that,
sure you are-
I
okay, that's
don't know.
it. So
I don't know
far,
if you
that's
want
it
to
for
do
now.
Yeah,
In
so
terms
that-
of
you're not giving away too much.
She can do the first verse of the actual. That's a teaser
let's do
verse,
the
but
fir-
she can
yes,
do the first
okay,
verse of the actual
yeah.
calypso if she wants. Chorus. So
You don't have to give your whole song, eh? You have to hold it.
Good evening, my name is Rising Rose. I'm here to compete tonight, I suppose. But the truth is I have something to share, and all of you who have ears, you should hear. I am representing the young children growing up in the society. I can tell you that from where I stand, things don't look too pretty, you see. The society's a foreign moral decay, playing nasty business in the middle of the day, in the center of town, even at party, where children like me are expected to be alive. Tell me if I lie. Hey, good evening, my name is Rising Rose. I'm here to compete tonight, I suppose. But the truth is I have something to share, and all of you who have ears, you should hear.
All right, that's it. That's all we're putting out for now. We're not putting out more than that for now.
I mean, if she really executes that, well on that, this is powerful. When she comes on stage and she tells you who she is, I am Rosalind Rose.
Rising
Rose. And then she just lays it out in the lyrics in song. And wow, I love this.
Are you going to be backing up, Maxine, on that song?
I'm not sure if she wants me. I'll back up in studio for sure. I'm not sure if she wants me. I'm not sure if she wants me on stage or if she wants me front of stage. That's for her to decide. Wow. We have our first band practice on Tuesday.
Tuesday. Wow, that's wonderful. I really, and I love her voice as well. And I can just see her, on stage with her, her props and everything, just lending to that song, and the response from the crowd. If she executes this well on that afternoon.
I wanted to ask Camille though. I mean, and as a young person in prep, what about the rest of your students in the class? Do you think they have concerns as well about the kinds of music and songs that's being played? Are they talking about it in the class?
Honestly, I'm not really sure if they have a concern about it, because if they hear the song, they will sing it. It doesn't matter to them what the song says.
Nigerian expression and how she
pronounces that's why I'm having this beautiful connection.
This is Maxine's daughter. This is
because I know it's coming.
Yes. And she ready for more questions, Nigel? That's Maxine's child. She's ready for more questions, so you better ask her another question.
Well, she looked like she pushed back singing that side, and she's like,
yes, I like that.
That's why I told you early when we started the show, and you were asking me about Calypso, and so I told you, yes, I have been involved, but later on, my surprise will. It's about continuation and continuity.
Yes.
Our talents are there for ourselves, but also for others. And it's important for us as parents to recognize what our children are interested in and to try to empower them. And not every child is the same. And not every child needs to be up front or on stage. Not every child is comfortable with that either. If they are, then you encourage them. And Auntie Pearl, at the age, I said that to my husband the other day, he said, Moje, I can't believe Camille doing this. I said, Auntie Pearl, at the age of about 8, I think, she put me on Dumbfester. I sang the song for you last week, Tomorrow, from Annie. And my mom said she sat down there looking at me, sit down under the stage looking at me and saying, where this child come up with this? Because I could never do that, right? And then I see that she has a tendency to that. She participated in the DBS song, not song contest,
reading competition.
She participated actually in one of the Q95 radio singing contests as well, and she won something for she was the youngest competitor, I think. And she has that tendency that she when we did the tribute to Nelly, when I turn around, who is introducing me to come on stage but my child?
Wow.
And she ended up being like Wadik's co-MC, so we have different. Every individual, some individuals have that and others don't, and it's fine. But whatever it is that God has blessed you with, believe me, it is there for a reason and it's there for a purpose, and you should not hide it. There's the parable of the talents, right? That we should not hide our talents. Our talents must be nurtured and multiplied on behalf of ourselves, but also on behalf of the kingdom.
Wow. So Rising Rose, you're ready for the competition? I'm sure you're looking for. By the way, will you be on parade this afternoon as well?
Yes, I will.
Oh, so you're looking forward to that too. Nigel, this is just wonderful.
We
should have brought her in earlier, man. Wow, I love
it. As Maxine remembered about the DBS reading competition, I just remember her now.
Oh yes,
group competition. So it just kind of clicked, Do you like performing, Camille?
Yes, I do.
You're not. You don't have butterflies on stage or anything like that. Wow.
She's always willing to
you
come
can
forward.
tell. Are you looking forward one day to do a song with you and your mommy together? Yes. If you have to sing
People
a
on
song,
radio
if you
listening,
have to sing,
not everybody's seeing you. Some people are on radio.
if you had to sing a song, I know we're coming up time. If you had to sing a song with your mommy, what song would it be?
Dudumwe.
You know the song well, right? You know the song?
I know the whole song.
Okay, let's go. What?
Okay, so you and your mommy gonna sing that.
Yes.
I monetize your thing right
Yes.
there.
Oh, yes. Let's go.
Dudumwe, ou ke vwe bel sourire. Si ou vwe Dudumwe, ou ke vwe sole la. Dudumwe, c'est Dudumwe, mais Dudumwe pas connaître ça. Dudumwe, c'est Dudumwe, mais Dudumwe pas connaître ça. Mais joindre Dudumwe un jour, mettez les faits commission. Didi a ça que fait fi. Et puis, bah, moi, à belle sourire. Oui, si vous voyez Dudumwe, ou que voyez à belle sourire. Si vous voyez Dudumwe, ou que voyez soleil là. Dudumwe, c'est Dudumwe, mais Dudumwe pas connaître ça. Dudumwe, c'est Dudumwe, mais Dudumwe pas connaître ça. Aïe doudou, aïe chérie, aïe doudou, mais pas moi à sourire. Aïe doudou, aïe chérie, aïe doudou, mais pas moi à sourire.
Oh,
Nigel, place Ivona.
Nigel, this is whoa.
This is the connection that I love. This is the connection. This is how we connect the dots. Spread it from the generation and bringing it down. I love this. Thank you so much, Camille. Camille Rose, full name, but thank you so much, Camille Rising Rose, for being there and sharing with us this morning. We're looking forward to your participation in the competition.
Wow.
Yes.
Because you're
going to bring the entire Pioneer Prep with you, right?
That's the plan, right?
Wow.
Pioneer also has a participant in the Princess competition. So yeah.
Wow. Well, let me wish you all the best as well. The world is your oyster. Go ahead, and take advantage of all the opportunities that are there. You're just 9 years, and look at that already.
Lovely.
Nigel, I enjoyed
Thank
today's
you.
program. We still had to ask Maxine how she feels about connecting the dots. 1 minute, Maxine, tell us quickly. Do you think it's a good program?
I think it's a wonderful program. I think it's a wonderful program. You guys do a really great job of exposing people that we have within our space, within our Dominican space, whether in Dominica or whether overseas, and kind of opening up their life stories and sharing their little tidbits of wisdom, their experiences that can help others along their way, encourage them or give them tips or whatever the case might be. I think it's a wonderful program, which is why I'm a regular listener.
Oh. Well, thank you. Yes, go ahead.
And you might think that because of my age, I cannot encourage people. But to all the people that are listening, your dreams are your dreams. Nobody can stop you.
Wow. Nigel, wow. Nigel is...
I want to use speechless, man. Impossible.
This is
impossible.
I just love this.
That's what I'm going to do. How I'll end the program today.
Yeah.
And then people might think that
Let's talk.
I want to be a singer, but my dream is to be an architect and an engineer.
Wonderful. Go for it.
Go for it. Well, I wish you well. I wish you all the best. I really wish that we had brought you on earlier, man. You could just run the show with us,
Yeah.
You could have run the show with us, man.
You'll bring on the contestants at another time or whatever the case might be.
Nigel, we have to bring on a lot
I'll be glad to come back.
Aye.
Nigel, we have to bring a lot of them on. I tell you, contestants from various pageants.
Yes.
It should be
As a matter
interesting.
of fact, one of the things we want to do is connecting the dots this year on my own, and of course we kind of talk about it, but have the young people come on and we connect with them.
Yes, definitely.
They too have a story.
Oh yes, we're gonna get them. 9 years, and look at how we started the very first program for this
they
year.
do have a story.
Thank you so
Maxine,
much.
I appreciate the surprise you had for us
Wow,
this morning.
I love this. I love this,
appreciate you
Maxine.
joining
Thank you.
Rising Rose.
Rising
And
Rose,
your
Camille
rose.
Rose.
Yeah, give you all the roses.
Look out for
Alright.
Rising Rose on the parade today and in the junior calypso competition.
Oh, and also look out for Tahila Xavier.
Okay, all right. All the best. We have to run because we have another program that's on. But I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a blessed day. And Happy New Year to everybody.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Happy returns. Wow.
Happy New Year to all. My bones, as always, thanks, appreciate